Hello.
Yes, hello.
It's us again.
It's us again, and we're sitting in the Botanic Gardens in Glasgow.
Yes, in fact, I can show you if I just found.
There you go. That's what we're looking at.
The Kibble Palace.
So we were here because today was the formal opening of the Lord Provost's Peace Garden, and it was such a good event.
It was lovely. Yeah, it was opened up with Protest in Harmony, just singing a cappella in the Peace Garden about peace, which was very moving. Then there were some speeches.
Yeah, Lord Provost spoke, and then the Consul, Japanese Consul to Scotland. He's based in Edinburgh. He'd come over with his wife. And then we had Jean Anderson of Glasgow, Scottish C&D, followed by David Peutherer. Yeah. So short talks, but they're good, and you're going to hear them, so we don't say too much.
We don't
say too much about them. But it was a really good day. There was a decent crowd here watching.
And then we had a wee chat to the Lord Provost, who we have interviewed before. It was lovely to see her again. Yeah. And I was just, I thought she must be so proud, because we followed this journey from it becoming just an idea that she might do, to suddenly it becomes doable. Then people start coming up with designs, and then funding and crowdfunding and publicity. So we've kind of followed the project through. We were at the soft launch a few weeks ago, and today was the formal launch. So
and didn't you find out from some of the C&D folk whose idea it was originally?
Yes, it was like passing the baton, because it started off with me saying to Jean, well, this was your idea, wasn't it? And she went, well, no, actually it was those two people over there. So we went and spoke to those two people over there, and they went, oh, actually no, it's my next door neighbour. So everybody's had a piece of this and a part on it, which is lovely.
It was just a really good event. It was well put together and everything. It was enjoyable to be here, but today is 80 years exactly when the bomb got dropped. So there's also a quite sombre background.
In one of the speeches was, we talk about, we're here to commemorate it, we mustn't forget. And the people in Japan say, well, we must make sure it never happens again, which is a more practical response, really.
The Lord Provost put on a nice little repast. It was just that most of it had gone by the time we got in.
We were too busy interviewing, and I'd even had a recommendation for which of the cakes was the best, but by the time I got to the table they were all gone. But that's probably no bad thing. So anyway, hope you enjoy this. Please share it with people. Mayors for Peace website, we'll put the link in the notes. We'll also put the link to our earlier podcast, which had local school children reciting haikus and singing, which was we have heard on good authority that made some CND members cry. So we always think that that's the sign of a good video. If we have people crying by the end, our job is done.
Yeah, so just a little moment to get your hankies out, and we'll start the podcast.
I'm joking.
Just after spoken to you, and I went, oh, Edie.
I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the river Clyde. Where? Down by the river Clyde. Where? Down by the river Clyde. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield. Where? Down by the river Clyde. By the river Clyde. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I'm gonna sing out a song of peace. Where? Down by the river Clyde. Where? Down by the river Clyde. Down by the river Clyde. I'm gonna sing out a song of peace. Where? Down by the river Clyde. Down by the river Clyde. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no study war no more. One, two, three. Keep the joy in your heart, keep on singing. I believe we will see the day when our children don't see razor wire, when the submarines have gone away. Found the weapons, found the weapons, found the weapons from the water side. Found the weapons, found the weapons, found the weapons from the sea. We will walk in the fields and the meadows. We will swim in the waters blue. We will dig in the earth all together, for one day we'll see our dreams come true. Found the weapons, found the weapons, found the weapons from the water side. Found the weapons, found the weapons, found the weapons from the sea. Found the weapons, found the weapons, found the weapons from the water side. Found the weapons, found the weapons, found the weapons from the We like the flowers, we like the vegetables, we like the planters, we like the vegetables, we want to lancers, and try to say ourselves, we want to live in a nuclear society with no plutonium, no plutonium, no plutonium, no plutonium, no. We like the flowers, no, we like the vegetables, we like reactors, and try to make us, we want to live in a nuclear society, we want to live in a nuclear society with no plutonium, 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 no.
Consul General, Vice Dean of Guild, Deacon Convener, elected members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. To formally welcome you here today, may I introduce the Right Honourable, the Lord Provost of the City of Glasgow, Councillor Dr. Jacqueline McLaren.
Thank you very much, Good afternoon, Consul General, Vice Dean of Guild, Deacon Convener, distinguished guests. Thank you all for joining me here today in one of the most picturesque areas of Glasgow and a favourite spot of mine, the Botanic Gardens. Today, on the 80th anniversary of Hiroshima Day, we gather to inaugurate our very own symbol of peace and resilience in the centre of our community. Glasgow's Peace Garden will commemorate the atrocious atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and its devastating consequences. It will stand as a testament to our collective commitment to peace. I couldn't think of a more fitting setting for such an important tribute as part of the International Mayors for Peace project. The planting of tobacco tree seeds, which unbelievably survived the bombings in 1945, serve as a poignant reminder of the enduring spirit of humanity. These precious survivor seeds, given to Glasgow as a lasting and living memorial to peace, will grow to embody the strength and hope that emerged from these tragic events. Much like the process of growing seeds into trees, Peace is a concept we must continue to work at and nurture. We all have a role to play in sustaining peace. This space will invite citizens and visitors to reflect and learn, providing a sanctuary for all who visit. My friends, I won't keep you much longer. I'd just like to express my gratitude to those who have been instrumental in creating this new civic space. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the local pupils, some of them are here today, who helped design the garden. They've engaged so well throughout this project, developing a deeper understanding of peace, its value and fragility. How fitting as they are the future change makers of our society. I'd also like to extend a heartfelt thanks to our partners, the Mayors for Peace project, Glasgow CND, and of course the staff here at the Botanic Gardens, whose dedication has brought this concept to life. In fact, we are extremely fortunate to have the expertise of one of our fantastic curators, Hiroshima, who is from Japan, and whose mother witnessed firsthand the radioactive mushroom cloud. So I am in no doubt the garden will flourish under his watchful eye. All that's left to say is thank you all for coming today, and I do hope you enjoy this beautiful symbol of peace in our beloved city. Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, to reply to the Lord Provost's civic welcome, may I introduce the Consul General for Japan, Mr. Katsutoshi Takeda.
Thank you. Lord Provost Jacqueline McLaren, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Katsutoshi Takeda, the Consul General of Japan in Edinburgh. I'm honored to be here with you today, and on the 80th anniversary of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima city at the launching of Glasgow's very own Peace Garden. It was said that after the devastation caused by the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that nothing would grow for 75 years. Despite this devastation, however, gingko trees were able to survive, bloom, and produce seeds. These seeds are now sent around the world to promote peace and strive for the nuclear weapon-free world through mayors of peace. It is only fitting that some of these seeds are planted here in Glasgow's Peace Garden. I hope that they will grow into strong trees which will bloom for the many years to come, and stand as both powerful reminder of the futility of war and a beautiful expression of the resilience of life. I'm sure that the Peace Garden will also flourish around the ginkgo trees and allow visitors a contemplative space to reflect on the past, present, and the future. In light of recent events, it is an especially significant time for the opening of this garden as a commitment by the Glasgow city to strive for the world peace. As the only nation to have suffered atomic bombings, Japan has been leading the international discussions on nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation toward the realization of world without nuclear weapons. Japan will continue to develop concrete initiatives, making maximum use of various multilateral frameworks and bilateral diplomatic opportunities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from CND Glasgow, Jean Anderson.
Good morning, everybody. I'm here today representing Glasgow CND and Peace Education Scotland. As we all know, we're gathered here today to open this beautiful peace garden, but also to mark the 80th anniversary of the use of nuclear weapons by the United States against Japan. Hiroshima was bombed on the 6th of August, and Nagasaki was bombed on the 9th of August 1945. These two bombs killed over 200,000 children, people, including 38,000 babies and children. We remember today those victims and survivors, the Hibakusha. I want to stress that these deaths happened in an instant, not like the other wars that have been waged since then over months or years, but in one moment of horror. And that was the effect of just one bomb, which was an eighth of the power of one of the Trident warheads down the road at Faslane. Each of the 4 Trident submarines in Scotland can carry up to 8 missiles on board, and each missile can have 5 warheads. That's enough to cause hundreds of Hiroshimas, and enough to create a nuclear winter and to destroy life on Earth. The Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons Agreement, as you referred to, of 1968 is being ignored by the 9 nuclear weapons holding countries, and they're ramping up their arsenals. Tension amongst nuclear armed nations are rising to levels not seen since the Cold War. The mayors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki warned that we are badly off course in efforts to honour the plea of the survivors and to end the nuclear threat. So it's generally agreed that we're living in a time of extraordinary nuclear danger. What are we doing to meet it? I'm glad to say quite a lot. Activists all over the world came together to create the United Nations Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. In 2021, the Ban Treaty, as it's known, came into force. It makes it illegal for any country which signs the treaty to have nuclear weapons, but also to allow them to cross their territory. There are about 200 countries in the world, and 93 of them have already signed the treaty. That will increase slowly but surely. And the 9 nuclear weapon states will feel increasing pressure and difficulties in placing and moving their deadly bombs. You see, it worked for chemical weapons, and we believe it will eventually work for nuclear weapons too. The Ban Treaty gives us hope, and so does the fact that we're all here today celebrating this garden, like people all over the world are remembering those lost in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We will continue to fight against the lies and the pretense that it's all okay. We'll fight against the fiction that our governments are acting in our best interests and that we need nuclear weapons to defend ourselves. They act in the interests of arms manufacturers, and they do not defend us. They make us a target. So we need to talk about the immense destructive power of nuclear bombs and the threat to life and the planet. And we must educate our young people and help them to carry forward the work for peace. We want to give them the tools to fight the madness with, truth and knowledge. And that task is continuing today in this very welcome launch of the Peace Garden. Glasgow CND and Scottish CND and Peace Education Scotland have been proud to collaborate with our Lord Provost, the Botanic Gardens and 2 local schools, St Charles and North Kelvinside Primaries. Over the last few months, the children have learned about the history, and the teachers have also guided them in writing haikus on peace. The haikus that the children wrote are amazing. Everyone who's read them are impressed with the ideas expressed and the quality of their writing. If you've not yet seen them, go and have a look in the Kibble Palace. In the entrance you'll find a table with some of them spread out on it. The story of the gingko tree seeds embodies our hopes. And as the sapling grows, the message will spread through our children and their families and everyone who sees this garden and the future gardens. So on behalf of all the people who continue to fight for a saner and safer world, we thank again our Provost for Peace, Jacqueline McLaren, and Glasgow City Council for this Peace Garden initiative. We hope to continue the work and spread it to more parks and, more importantly, to more schools. The children will inspire us all to keep up the fight. Finally, I'm delighted that space was found on the board for Robert Burns's words. For all that, and all that is coming yet, for all that, the man to man, the world o'er, shall brothers be, for all that. Thank you. I'll now hand over to my colleague David Peutherer, the convener of the Reclaim the Pride group, to say a few words on behalf of the many hard-working activists.
We meet at this time of year to commemorate the horrific destruction, death and suffering which was inflicted on the people of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. That day changed the world. It led eventually to the start of the Cold War, as the USA and Russia both developed nuclear weapons, and other countries, including Britain, rushed blindly to acquire them or develop them in the mistaken belief that they would make us all safer. Well, as Jean has said, there are now enough nuclear weapons in the world to kill everybody 3 times over, so making us safer hasn't worked very well. But it's right to remember that we remember what happened at Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but it's not enough to remember. In fact, the Japanese don't say we must remember, they say we must prevent this happening again. Antonio Guterres said that eliminating the nuclear weapons would be the greatest gift we could give to future generations. They're our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren. And we agree with him, and we know that Scotland can get rid of them from our country, but only if enough of us want to and vote for it. And voting for it means voting at the elections in May 2026 for parties which support independence and signing the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. Because that treaty contains clauses which say that any independent country which has on its territory nuclear weapons belonging to another country shall have them removed if the country has signed the treaty. So signing the treaty is an essential part of the process. This year, members of SND groups have been going around the region of our campaign area, the west of Scotland basically, talking to people and giving them leaflets, telling them how dangerous the weapons are to us and the world. But from doing that, what we have learned is that a very high proportion of young people don't know anything about the nuclear weapons on the Clyde. They don't know that they make us a target. Some have got a vague idea that there are some there. Some have heard of Faslane, but it's very general, no detail. And when we tell them, as we do, they are very concerned about them, and they do agree with us. So we're now therefore making short videos which will tell people about these nuclear weapons. They'll be targeted particularly, but not exclusively, at young people aged 15 to about 28. We'll make it very clear that Clyde is a target, that if it's attacked, thousands of people at the bases would be killed, and more on both sides of the estuary, all the way from Faslane, Stirling, Perth, Dundee, Edinburgh. And if, as Jean said, if they were used as part of a NATO-led war, then millions or billions of people could be killed and the future of humanity put at risk. I think it was Nicola Sturgeon who said that if everyone who supports getting rid of nuclear weapons convinces one other person, we can do it. I think that's true. So I'm here today to ask you to look at our videos when they're online and tell your neighbours about them, your families, your friends, your colleagues, and encourage them all to look at them and think about it. Because if they do, I think an awful lot of them will begin to agree with us. And that could make the difference between having a government next year which wants to get rid of nuclear weapons and having one which doesn't. Thank you.
May I ask the Lord Provost and Consul General please step forward for the ribbon cutting.
Thanks.
Thanks, Team Convener. Thank you.
Hey.
Cheers.
Here we go. Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, and please enjoy the Lord Provost's Peace Garden. Thank you.
And that song was from the City of Glasgow chorus, beautifully sung. We do have a few interviews with people which we aren't including in this video, but they will be in the audio podcast version, so we'll put the link to that in the notes as well. Thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to make sure you're following us and subscribe to us, then you get notified every time we put something new out, so you don't miss anything. That would be great. Also, you can click the little bell if you're watching on YouTube.
And sign up for our mailing list. You can do that from the website, and we always send one out at the beginning of each month to tell you what's happening. Last but not least, you can buy us a coffee on coffee.com.